Good morning. My name is Ago Pedaliso, and I'm a volunteer and a community organizer for the Filipino World War II veterans and their families. I am also an advocate for full equity, full recognition, and full benefits for the World War II veterans. Now, we heard from the U.S. Senate that they will be holding a Veterans Affairs Committee hearing very soon. And it is my intention to clearly articulate the provisions of the full equity bill and differentiate it from some other bills, specifically the bill that was introduced by Senator Heller. Now, let's go to the first slide here. I want to introduce to you and explain the benefits of the Filipino Veterans Fairness Act of 2013 that was introduced by Schatz, Senator Brian Schatz from Hawaii and Representative Jackie Speier from California, and how it is different from the bill that was introduced recently by Senator Heller and by Congresswoman Hannah Busa entitled Filipino Veterans Promise Act. Just for simplicity, I would refer to two bills as the Fairness Act versus the Promise Act. Now, for us to understand really what an equity bill should have in its provision, we should have a clear understanding of the loopholes of the Filipino Veterans Equity Compensation Act of 2009, FVEC. It was a one-time lump sum benefit of $9,000 or $15,000, riddled with all the caveats and limitations. It was a part recognition, part benefit, but definitely it comes short of a full equity bill. Now, loophole number one, and I'm going to discuss it to you right now. The FVEC clearly stated that the Missouri list shall be used as the sole basis of eligibility. Now, what's wrong with the Missouri list? We know for a fact that back in 1973, it was gutted down in fire. That as much as 80% of the list of personnel from 1912 to 1960 was lost. So all they have right now is just a reconstructed list. And I'm not surprised as to why out of the 42,000 Filipinos who applied for lump sum benefit, as much as 60% were actually denied. Because they're not in the list that was flawed, discriminating, and incomplete to start with. Now, it is the intention of Senator Schatz to actually include as many documents and references as possible to prove to the U.S. government that the veterans served during World War II. The Missouri list, Commonwealth Army list, citations, third-party references, testimonies, and even the Philippine documents. Now, does the Heller Bill or the Promise Act address this issue? Partly, yes. The bill says that they're gonna get some military historians to look and review the list again and kind of expedite the process. The main problem is the office of Senator Heller clearly stated that they're not gonna accept Philippine documents. If you look at the case of Mr. Ed Torres and Mr. Baldonado, Mr. Baldonado is the one without the eyeglasses. Both of them were comrades back in, during the war. They were guerrillas up in the mountain. They both served at the same time at the same place. But Baldonado was denied of the benefit back in 2009. Torres, on the other hand, got his benefit. The irony of the matter is, Baldonado had his citizenship back in 92 because of the fact that he was a veteran. He had 3 Missouri medals, and yet he was denied of the benefit. The only way he can get the benefit is to look at the Philippine documents. So the question is, why would you deny the veteran of getting the benefit by denying him access to the Philippine documents? Loophole number 2. Most of the widows were denied at the FVEC. It is the intent of the Schatz and Speier's bill to actually include the widows who legally are survivors of World War II veterans. If the widows of American vets and foreign nationals like Canadians, Australians, and all other nationalities who fought during World War II under the U.S. command are being given the benefits, why should we deny the Filipino widows who are actually survivors of legitimate veterans? Number 3 loophole. there was an equal benefit between somebody who is US based from the one that's Philippine based. And that's the disparity between having a 15,000 or 9,000. This is the provision, one of the provisions why essentially the veterans had to file a lawsuit at the Supreme Court. Why would you apply different rules for the same people who fought at the same time at the same place? This really grossly violate the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. The last loophole from the FVEC is the fact that the lump sum benefit came up with a quitclaim bill or provision saying that once you get the benefit, you're actually surrendering future benefits like monthly pension. The Schatz bill is clearly intended to provide lifetime monthly pensions to World War II veterans and their widows. This is fully addressed in the bill by Senator Schatz. There is nothing in the Heller's bill. So if you look at the fairness bill, different from the Promise Act, in terms of philosophy, they're really diametrically opposite. The Schatz bill was more inclusive. The Heller's bill was more discriminating, and it just continues the flaws that was started out in the FVEC. If we are to close this 67 years of abandonment, if we are to close these years of racial discrimination, if we are to close the history of abandonment and exclusion of the widows, we simply cannot put up a legislation to have something out of nothing. We simply have to address the core issues of recognition, and that's all included in the Schatz bill. We hope that I have clarified all the issues, and we hope that you're going to give all your support and backings for the Schatz and Speier bill that we hope would address the issue of inequality and finally close this dark chapter of history. Thank you very much.